This is the Kingdom Mindset YouTube channel. This is the third video of a 7-video series titled "Is the Pre-Tribulation Rapture a Chemical Balance or a Chemical Imbalance?" Let's go to a definition real quick. Homeostasis. Homeostasis is quite crucial for the survival of an organism. It is often seen as a resistance to changes in the external environment. Furthermore, homeostasis is a self-regulating process that regulates internal variables necessary to sustain life. Perfect scriptures in the Bible that you really get a picture of homeostasis. Now, before you get freaked out, let me explain it. I'm not adding anything to the word homeostasis. All it means, let's just make it simple: internal stability. And as Christians, we know true internal stability is from Jesus and Jesus alone. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Jesus is the true internal stability. All right. So let's read these scriptures, Matthew 14:28-33. Let's define fight or flight. The fight or flight response is a physiological reaction which the body prepares, Matthew 25, for physical confrontation, post-trib rapture, or to escape from danger, pre-trib rapture. The body's fight or flight response is activated when there is a perceived threat, like someone trying to take away your possessions. Your heart rate increases, your blood pressure rises, your brain releases adrenaline and other hormones that make you feel more alert. This takes place in the brain called the amygdala. Threat. Threat is an indication or warning of probable trouble or of being at risk for something terrible. You remember this chart here? This chart, we already defined homeostasis. Now it's time to define receptor, effector, and control center. The receptor, as the name suggests, the receptor is the sensing component responsible for monitoring and responding to changes in the external or internal environment. The control center. The control center is also known as the integration center. It receives and processes information from the receptor. The effector. The effector responds to the commands of the control center. It can either oppose or enhance the stimulus. Now it's time for the test. Let's get right into the test, all right? Here we go. I can prove to you 100% that we, the church, will go through the Great Tribulation. Therefore, there is not a pre-tribulation rapture. I can back it up with scripture. Take a minute, soak it in. But before you leave, let me explain what I'm doing and why. And secondly, I will tell you what's happening in your mind. This is a test. There's a lot of debate on the rapture, and I will not try to convince you that there is or is not a pre-trib rapture from a biblical standpoint, at least at first. Why? Because if you do not have an understanding of the mental balances or imbalances in the human mind, the debate will go nowhere. The fight or flight response is too strong to overcome by intellectual Christianity because it may be reinforced with false expectations. The fight or flight has to be defeated before we can give you scripture. The mind is a powerful, powerful thing, and it makes us see irrational things even within the born-again experience. You remember the word conflict? How two people can see the same information differently. At the end of these videos, I will give a few scriptures on why I believe there is a post-trib rapture, but that is going to be separate from this series. So we had the test, and then what happened to you internally? This might have happened to you. Here's a picture. You've seen this picture, and obviously there's some more information here. So before the threat happened, we were in homeostasis. We are in equilibrium, peace, stability, all right? Then there was the threat. What was the threat? Us going through great tribulation. The perceived threat, we are going to lose something or something will be taken away from us. We will have to go through the wrath of God. Some of those things might have triggered into your mind, and it would have made you afraid. the receptor, or the eye or the ear heard this, our heart rate increases, and then it goes to the control center of the brain, the fight or flight response. This is where the fight or flight response takes place, and then it'll go to the effector. And this is where flight or fight response, we will respond to this. We will flight or we will fight. Obviously, flight, we will pre-trib rapture. Fight, we will post-trib rapture. But the point is, we always trying to go back to homeostasis. We have to. It's human way of survival. So the pre-trib rapture, us to get back to homeostasis, we're escaping this threat. So we're back, and there's nothing more we have to do. We're not preparing for physical confrontation. So we're escaping it so we don't have to deal with it. Remember the definition of fight or flight? When there is a perceived threat, we prepare in one or two ways. We prepare for physical confrontation, or we escape danger. Pre-trib rapture, obviously escaping danger. Post-trib rapture, we have to prepare for physical confrontation, but both of them get us back to the place of homeostasis, peace, stability, and equilibrium. There are times when we are bigger, stronger, and faster, and we fight anyways. This is called an amygdala hijack. Amygdala hijack can activate a person's fight or flight response as a reaction to a real or a perceived threat of danger. Amygdala hijack describes the perhaps unnecessary triggering of this response and the actions that follow it. Now, we're going to talk about two different types of threats when we flight from a situation. One, we are bigger, stronger, and faster than the threat. Number two, the threat is bigger, stronger, faster than us. Now, what do I mean by bigger, stronger, faster? It's more kind of figurative than literal, but like you have a spider and you have a bear. Arachnophobia, we're scared of the spider, we're bigger, stronger, faster than the spider, and we flight from it anyways. Or what about the bear? The bear is bigger, stronger, and faster than us, and we flight from that as well. And so those are kind of two things that two types of threats I'm talking about, at least in this context. In the natural, there is nothing in our power to overcome the threat when it's bigger, stronger, faster than us. For example, you can prepare food, money, resources, and still be unprepared for the Great Tribulation. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being naturally prepared for what is to come, because in Proverbs 6 through 8, it talks about an ant storing or preparing its provisions in summer and gathers its food for harvest. However, the rich man in Luke 12, 16 through 21 stored up many possessions and died. The point is that we need a balanced and proportional response to fight or flight for preparation. In my opinion, running from a bear is just as deadly as believing in the what? I'm going to say it. I know you guys are not going to like it, but as deadly as believing in the pre-tribulation rapture, because you're not preparing for physical confrontation. For you to stand a chance against a bear chasing you in the woods, you have to know what to do when it happens. Your instinct is to run. That's the worst thing you can do. In addition to that, we must replay the event in our minds so that it can trigger an emergency response, which we will talk about later in this video series. God bless you. Jesus is on the throne. He's bigger, stronger, faster than the Great Tribulation. See you next video.